Welcome to the Don J MMA podcast. We're going to be ranking strikers on a tier list today. But first of all, Don Dada, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm excited for this one. This will be good. This will be interesting.
I think we're going to get cooked today. I've got a
Yeah.
feeling, but we'll
So
see.
we want to start off by saying, so this is based on their entire career, not currently. And for this tier list to work, me and Ben have to agree on where the fighter goes. So let's.
Yeah, so this is each fighter in the prime, just to be absolutely clear.
So first up, we've got Max Holloway. What are you saying?
I actually think Max Holloway's striking's kind of overrated. I actually really do. I don't think Max Holloway, he finished the Korean Zombie, but the Korean Zombie's way past it. He
Yeah, he
doesn't
was
really
gone.
finish fighters. Yes, he beats them. He beats the holy hell out of a lot of them. He doesn't ever get any crazy finishes, really. He doesn't. He's very hittable. Like he takes a lot of damage. So for me, I think he's excellent on the front foot, on the back foot, not so much. I would put him A, but I think there'll be quite a few fighters that will overtake him.
No, I thought we were going to agree on this here. I was going to put him in the B, and a lot of that
Holy shit!
is due to his striking defense. Um, the guy, like you said, is so easily hit,
Yeah,
but he is a good boxer. I personally just think like a majority of people on this list are better at striking than Max Holloway. But I mean, maybe I am being a bit too harsh. What do you think, A or B?
I
I'm not
think I
against
think
putting them in A.
I think I'll you know what I'll agree with B for now. But if we ever decide to move him up, we can.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of this, we'll go through it and we'll see what will change. Next up, we've got the current welterweight champion, Leon Edwards.
Leon for me would go straight to A. Now, obviously,
Yes.
I'm from the UK, so is Lewis. So obviously, we are very blinded by bias. But at the same time, it's evident. If you think Leon Edwards isn't an A tier strike, I'm not saying he's an S tier because he is very well rounded. He does use his wrestling, so maybe that can help him out. But Leon Edwards is absolutely an A tier striker.
Yeah, his knees and elbows are insane. Definitely in the eight here. I have no
Yeah.
issues with that. What I have an issue
But
with is why is him and Colby not being booked yet? Like, let's make this fight happen, or give Bilal the next shot, or if Leon isn't the one that's if he's the issue with this fight not being made, strip him. The
yeah.
division needs to move on. But A tier for striking, definitely. This is
And
interesting. The next one, Thiago
up next,
Santos.
Prime Thiago Santos. I'm going to say this is the Thiago Santos that was on the tear that fought John Jones. That Thiago Santos, he's he is B, but I'm putting him below Max because I think Thiago, when we go look at his who was it he fought? Jimmy Manoa. He was a very
Yeah.
wild fighter, and that helped him a lot. And I think that kind of uncaring wildness helped him against John Jones in his prime. But at the same time, great leg kicks, great power, great speed, dangerous finisher. He could finish anyone. Look at the Jan
Yeah.
Blachowicz fight, but I'm going to put Thiago Santos behind Max Holloway. I don't think the technicality's there as much.
Yeah, he is wild. Like that guy just he's mental when it comes to striking. He just throws the kitchen sink at you.
Yeah,
His strike similar to Max Holloway, his striking defense I don't think is great, but I mean he
no.
makes up for it with his power because you get too close to the guy and he puts you out. I'm happy enough to put him in B for now. Maybe
Yeah.
by the end of this list, Santos could be looking at C tier, but for the meantime, he's B behind Max Holloway. Next up, we've got, in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic. What are we saying?
Yeah. I'd definitely put Stipe in. His boxing is pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd maybe put him above Thiago Santos, not
yeah,
above Max.
Stipe's. I people will disagree with this again. I know a lot of people will, but is he an A tier striker? Is he fantastic? He's got a great 1-2,
Yeah, no,
but
I
he's not
personally
just a
wouldn't have him in
striker
A.
either. He's not. He isn't just a striker either. A lot of people need to remember. Um, I would definitely, but maybe how the Ngannou fight went and the fact that he's been inactive, we've kind of forgotten how good he is. I haven't watched the Stipe fight in a good while, to be honest with you, people. But I'm
Yeah, me.
definitely going to put Stipe in B. In front of Thiago, I don't know.
I would have him in front of Thiago, but behind
Yeah.
Max. I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
Stipe's, a very composed striker. So I think behind Max in front of Thiago is fine.
An underrated power. See that knockout he got over Verdum on the back foot
Every
to win the
He's
belt? That
finished a
was
lot of
insane.
people. Oh, the
Yeah.
body shot knockout over DC, finished a lot of people.
Yeah, that was a good adjustment that he made in that fight. Like that showed real fight IQ to target DC's body like that.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Peter Yan.
Right. Oh God.
A.
A 5 round Piotr Jan. Because this has to be 5 rounds, people. If it's 3 rounds, maybe not. But yeah, I agree. I'm gonna put him in A.
Yeah.
People might disagree. They might say Holloway's a better striker. No, he's not.
No, he's
Piotr
really
Jan,
not.
straight stand up. I mean, look how I don't know if he's in this list actually, but let's look at how good Sean O'Malley is. Sean O'Malley is exceptional, and Piotr Jan arguably beat him on the feet. He's exceptional on the feet. He also beat Corey Sanhagen on the feet. He's
Yeah.
beaten elite level strikers. Is he better than Leon Edwards?
No. I just think Leon mixes it up a lot better than what Yan does, in my opinion, with like kicks, elbows, knees, things like that.
Yeah,
But
I would agree. I'm going to put him behind Leon. I would definitely agree with that.
I definitely think he's A tier. He is, in my opinion, miles clear of Max Holloway on the feet. But like you said, the guy does take quite a while to get going. But when he gets going, he is up there with the best of the best in terms of striking currently on the active roster. Next up, I don't know where this guy's going to go. Darren Till.
Darren Till, he gave Wonderboy a good fight on the feet, and this was a past it Wonderboy, but not a finished Wonderboy. You know, Darren Till's a very good striker at welterweight. This is again prime Darren Till because he's not in his prime anymore. Um, Basically before losing Darren Till or before his Tyron Woodley loss, Darren Till was on a tear. He has very good time in his left hand. Look at the Donald Cerrone fight again. Donald Cerrone, not in his prime, but I definitely put him in C just because of I just can't ignore how bad he went. But then again,
Yeah,
he gave Robert Whittaker a lot of problems on the feet too.
yeah,
You
which
know,
is crazy to think.
he's a very good striker. He gave Kelvin Gastelum. He beat Kelvin Gastelum. In my opinion, Kelvin Gastelum should have got the decision, but I don't know.
It's
I think
hard
Steve.
to,
Here's the thing. Yes, he gave Wonderboy a lot of problems on the feet. Yes, he gave Kelvin Gastelum a lot of problems on the feet. And yes, he gave Robert Whittaker a lot of problems on the feet. But he arguably should have lost to Wonderboy. He arguably should have lost to Kelvin Gastelum. And he did lose to Robert Whittaker because he was a step behind the whole fight, really. Even though it was competitive, Robert was ahead. So
yeah.
I'm happy with C.
No, yeah, it's hard to kind of judge Darren Till because like his Muay Thai, he has a really, really good Muay Thai fight style. On the feet, he's really dangerous, but like his whole MMA game is like what was his biggest downfall. Like those last few performances were terrible. They
But
were
he
bad.
also couldn't mix it up at all. He had that same style where it's either he lands the straight left hand. It's basically like a Poundland Conor McGregor in a way. That's
Yeah,
kind of what I felt like he was. He had a dangerous elbow, dangerous knees, but I just
that's
don't know if
it.
I can put him in B.
No, he's definitely not B C tier. Like, but he was so hesitant as well, in my opinion. I honestly think the UFC pushed him too fast, and that is a big part to play in his downfall, to be honest.
Yeah.
But next up, we've got arguably the featherweight GOAT, Jose Aldo.
People won't agree with this. I would put him in B behind Max Holloway.
Do you know, like, I thought you were going to say you'd put him in A above Max Holloway, and I was going to say, no, he has to be behind Max Holloway. I totally agree with you. Max Holloway is a better striker than Jose Aldo. I totally agree with you. The guy's leg kicks,
Here's
though, are insane.
Here's what made Aldo so great, right? For those of you that don't know, he was a fantastic anti-wrestler. But Aldo, when you actually watch his fights, he wasn't just a striker all the time. And he did fight a lot of terrible strikers, to be honest with you, that made him
Yeah,
look a lot better.
than what he
Like
was.
Uriah Faber, not a striker at all. You know what I mean? Look
He
what he did to
chewed his
Uriah
leg
Faber's
up.
leg. Yeah, he destroyed his leg. And Aldo gave Max Holloway a lot of problems in that first fight. But I'm going to say Max Holloway, I think, would have still be a peak Aldo.
Yeah, no, I agree. Peak for peak, Holloway beats him definitely. Um, Now this might get interesting. Sabit, he's probably one of the most overrated guys we've ever seen in the UFC. That's just my opinion. But Zabit, in terms of striking, where are you putting him?
My thing was a B. I'm going to say C above Darren Till, but here's
Okay.
my thing. Zabit talent, yes. I mean, talent, he was not just a striker again. He was so good, in my opinion, talent wise. He couldn't go past 2 rounds without blowing his wad. Now, I know that's apparently due to health problems, but the facts are the facts. He had terrible cardio, but he had great flashy movements, great flashy attacks. Did he really beat anyone besides Calvin Cater? And Calvin Cater would have probably beat him in a 5 rounder
The five
with the
round
way
fight,
that
yeah.
fight was going. No, but talent. In fact, I'd probably put him behind Darren Till.
Yeah, I would agree. He has, I wouldn't put him in D tier. Like, I think that's a bit much, but definitely behind Darren Till. Darren Till was in there, like you said, with some of the best strikers the UFC
Yeah,
has to offer. Robert Whitaker, most importantly, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who we'll get to on this list. Yeah, I think Zabit is C tier. We didn't really get to see what level he was at. Obviously, I think it was health issues that made him retire. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think he's extremely overrated. Just my opinion. Put him in C tier.
yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think is a beat and whether you think he would have ended up being champion.
Next up, we've got Polish power Jan Blachowicz. B, above Stipe, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think not much to say. Not much to say. Again, I'd like to remind you all, Jan is very well rounded. Look at the Alex Pereira fight. Although Alex Pereira beat him, Jan can mix it up. I mean, Thiago Santos smoked Jan Blachowicz, but he's not a better. I'd put him above Stipe. He's more versatile on the feet. Yeah, I'm happy with Jan Blachowicz over Stipe.
Yeah, it's like a hard one because you said there like Santos beat him, but then you look at some other strikers on this list that we'll get to, like for example Adesanya. I mean,
Jan
Jan
beat
beat
him.
him on the feet, so it's like it's MMA match just never works. But yeah, I agree. Jan Blachowicz, I actually think he is really underrated. I
Yeah,
wouldn't put him
definitely.
above Aldo, but yeah, definitely above
And
Stipe.
Yang can finish people on the feet. He finishes people.
Yeah, like he can crack. You like that performance against Dominic Reyes, then body kicks that he was landing. Like no, like honestly, I thought Dominic Reyes that was a guaranteed fight for him to become champion, and Jan
Everyone did.
Blachowicz smoked him bad.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue Jan is the one that put Reyes out of his prime.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I would argue. Next up, we've
Yeah,
got, in my opinion, the greatest featherweight of all time, Alexander Volkanovski.
I would put him in A, just above Piotr Jan. The reason why I would do that is because I don't
Above
know actually.
Jan? I definitely agree with Aid here. I just don't know if I'd put him above Jan in terms of striking. Again, Volkanovski mixes it up really well,
If
but
this was just best pound for pound fighters, guys, I'd like to just clarify for all you Volk fans, he'd be S. Yes, he would be. We get it. All right, me and Lewis get it. Leave us alone for a
yeah,
second and let us explain. Right, Volkanovski, he's not an S tier striker. I
no,
don't care what anybody says to me. He's a fantastic adapter. He's a fantastic mixed martial artist. He's a great boxer. He outstruck Max Holloway. He definitely is an A, but I don't know if he's a better striker than Leon, and I don't know if he's a better striker than Pure Yan. Pure striking, better mixed martial artist, yes, but I'm saying Volkanovski, yeah, below Pure Yan in here.
yeah. I just think you have to remember this list is based on striking, and if you were to just look side by side at Jan striking and Volkanovski striking, Jan is better. I agree with having him above Max and Aldo. I mean, the guy, he beat both of them. He outstruck Max, especially in that third fight. Um, yeah, I think having Volkanovski behind Jan is fair. And just another thing for everybody who rants and raves about Alexander Volkanovski, the guy shouldn't be above Islam in the pound for pound rankings, but that will be another episode where me and Ben will go through the rankings and give our opinion
Yeah,
on them.
yeah.
Next up, now we've spoke about this, and this will be interesting. Surreal Gan. I'll let you go
Surreal
first.
Gan, Surreal Gan goes straight to S because
Agreed.
we both love Cyril Gan. And at the end of the day, Cyril Gan, if you don't know that Cyril Gan is an S tier striker, you're an idiot. He just has terrible grappling and wrestling. I don't know if it's terrible. He defended a takedown over Sergey Spivak. But I mean, John Jones destroyed this man. But if John Jones allowed this man to stay on the feet, there's a reason John Jones took him down, is all I'll say.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's necessarily he's got bad grappling. I think he just doesn't have that good takedown defense. I think when it gets to the mat, he can be okay. I mean, we've seen he kind of threw the fight away against Ngannou, but yeah, I mean, in terms of striking,
But
this guy,
even Ngannou, he got the better of Ngannou on the feet. He actually toyed with Francis at times, and he has his hands
yeah,
low, chin in the air, and he's toying with probably the second hardest puncher in the world. Like he's toying with him and
yeah,
moving around on him. You know, Francis had to wrestle against Cyril Gann. Francis Ngannou had to wrestle. And
and
as for the title with Asafai, Cyril Gann only gets caught on the feet when he
when he
plays with his
lets it,
food.
yeah, when like it's like as if he allowed Ty back into the fight.
Yeah.
Um, we've seen against Spivak there on a couple of weekends ago. Like this guy is dangerous on the feet. He's so light. The way he moves for a heavyweight is ridiculous. In my opinion, I've said before, I think he is the best striker we've ever seen at heavyweight. I definitely agree with
Definitely.
Ben having him at S tier. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that comes close to him at heavyweight in terms of striking. There are other strikers on this list that I believe are close to him, but in my opinion, at heavyweight, no one comes close. Next up, we have got Robert Whitaker. B.
I'm saying Rob B.
In front of Jan. Mm, yeah,
I
in
would
front of
say
Jan.
Rob. I would say Rob. I don't know. Yeah, why not? Because Robert Whittaker, I really, really, really don't believe. I refuse to believe, unless Robert comes back and gets a win, that Dracus Duplessis did what he did to a prime Rob.
No, I think his chin, like the amount of damage this guy has taken.
It's
Like you
shot.
look at the Yoel Romero fights, the fights against Adesanya, even though the second one was boring, but that first one he got pieced up bad. Yeah, no, I
But
think
very
B.
fluid on the feet. Very, very fluid on the feet. Look what he did against Jared Cannonier. Look what he did against Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, those head kicks as well. I think it's
Yeah.
isn't it like the right straight he throws and then the back head kick comes follows it, and that's just a
And
clean combination. Like
and a
he's got a
super
good
nasty
jab.
fighter. A super nasty, a great guy, but like you said, a great jab. And his side kicks to the knee are nasty.
Yeah, those are brutal. Do you think they should be banned quickly before we move on?
No, because if you can spinning wheel kick somebody in the side of the head and potentially end the life, then
Yeah, no, I think they should be allowed. But so above Aldo or but behind
I'm
Aldo?
saying behind Aldo.
Yeah, no. Right, here we go. Next, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, S tier.
S above Cyril Gam.
Yeah, no, I agree. This guy's movement's crazy, and like the how flexible he is to like throw his kicks up and his combinations as well. Like, see if you watch that Masvidal fight, the I can't remember what round it is where he drops him clean.
And I mean, Jorge's no joke either.
No,
And Stephen Wonderboy, I For those of you that haven't seen that fight, it is no exaggeration when I say Stephen Wonderboy obliterated that man. And Darren Till again, Wonderboy probably weren't in his prime against Darren Till, and he probably, maybe if it wasn't in Liverpool,
Yeah, but
maybe gets
maybe
that
would have won that.
decision. And again, Wonderboy turns strikers into wrestlers. No one likes to stand with Wonderboy. Kevin Holland tried it against a past it kind of shot chin Wonderboy, and look what Wonderboy did to him.
Yeah, it's
And Kevin Holland's much bigger and hits much harder, and he was able to hurt Wonderboy, but Wonderboy battered him, really. And that's not prime Wonderboy. For those of you that don't know how good prime Wonderboy is, look it up.
yeah, he is a really good, like the karate stance, everything about him on the feet is just insane. I mean, really, who's KO'd him? Anthony Pettis. That's the only guy I think's KO'd him, and
Well,
that was like
I mean,
some weird Superman punch.
and Anthony Pettis was very behind. I mean, Anthony Pettis is a dangerous guy, and he caught Stephen Wonderboy. You can't take that away from him. You know, these kind
Yeah,
of fights happen. Every fighter slips up. You know, Adesanya got dropped by Sean Strickland. Nobody ever thought that'd happen.
no,
But, you know, these kind of fights happen, and the Anthony Pettis fight, he was very well ahead. Very well ahead.
yeah, I think he's just class to watch. Like you're always tuning in for a Wonder Boy fight,
And
purely
he can
based
finish
on how good he
anyone.
is on the feet. Yeah. And like you think, like Gilbert Burns, like you said, he turns people into wrestlers. Gilbert Burns normally likes to stand and bang with people, and he just grappled Wonderboy Thompson the majority of that fight. In fact, all that
Yeah.
fight.
And even again, Wonderboy passed it. He would have slept Burns. But the mistakes
Yeah,
Burns makes on the feet, I guarantee he would have slept in if Burns stood with him.
yeah. Burns leaves too many openings. Next up, we've got Kevin Gastelum. Where we're putting him.
I'd put Kelvin C. Kelvin's very much a nearly man. Kelvin's very much a nearly man. He gave Israel Adesanya a ton of problems. He went to war with him. I kind of feel like he drew out his ego in that fight a little bit and made him go to war with him. But Kelvin Gastelum's a nearly man. He nearly beat Darren Till. Arguably, probably should have, but he nearly beat Darren Till. He didn't nearly beat Robert Whittaker, but he nearly beat Adesanya. You know, he's a nearly
Yeah,
man. He's not a B level striker. There's a lot of great. By the way, B and B. Look at the names there. You can't just be no slouch. You have to have
yeah,
won against other strikers. And whenever Kelvin Gastelum stepped up to the elite level, he has failed.
yeah. No, I agree with putting him. I'd put him in C tier above Darren Till, even though Darren Till beat him.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
war with Adesanya, like the way nobody's seen that coming. Another thing about him is I want to add, like you said, he is a nearly man. You know, he's had all these opportunities and he just always falls short. What he wouldn't have fallen short on was when it came to the Shavkat fight, he would have beat him. In my opinion, Kevin Gastelum would have KO'd Shavkat. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but I mean, Shavkat, in my opinion, is very easily hit, like we've seen against Jeff Neal. But that's for
Yeah,
another
and
time.
yeah, that's entire. I hope that fight happens before we move on. Yeah,
Yeah, so do I. But no, Gaslam and at C above Till and above Sabit, in my opinion, is fair. Let me, yeah, that is who I think it is. Anderson Silva next.
has to be S.
You
God,
think?
God, that guy was so good.
But then where do we put Jake Paul?
Oh God. I mean, realistically, what would have happened if that was Prime Anderson?
Yeah. Forrest Griffin type fight.
Like that. I mean, TRT Vitor. Let's not forget what kind of Vitor that was. That was TRT blinded Michael Bisping in one eye.
Yeah, he
Let's
took
not
that
forget
guy's
that.
eye.
He ruined Luke Rockhold's chin. He is a killer, an absolute murderer. And Anderson Silva took that man's soul.
Yeah.
Look how composed it was. He just flicked the up kick, front kick. He just flicked it like it was nothing and knocked him out cold. Like, I know you could argue Anderson never really beat any elite strikers, but I don't look at him like even out of his prime, he had a very competitive fight with Izzy.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, stepping up on short notice against like DC and landing that body kick that he nearly arguably got the finish. Well, he hurt DC in that matchup. Um, the Forrest Griffin fight, I think I don't know. Like
And the losses like the Chris Weidman loss the first time.
that was
Chris
just
Weidman's
silly.
in his prime. Chris Weidman was a fantastic wrestler, but not just that. Anderson's ego cost him eventually. You
Yeah,
know.
no, I think yeah, I'll go West here. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to put him in the eight here because I feel like I'm just doing that to be annoying. So yeah, I think S tier is fair enough for him. Next, we've got, in my opinion, I've said this before, the best boxer on the UFC's roster, Dustin Poirier. What do
I'm
you
putting
think?
him in above Max Holloway and B.
Yeah, so am I. I think that's fair.
And he beat Max. Listen, Max Holloway, in my opinion, is absolutely a natural lightweight. He's a bit skinny, but when he stepped up to lightweight, Dustin Poirier sent him straight back down. You know, Dustin Poirier has been to wars. He's beat a lot of good strikers. Conor McGregor, I would argue, wasn't in his prime when Dustin Poirier beat him. But
No,
Dustin Poirier could beat Prime. I'm not saying he would. I don't think he would, but he could give Prime Conor problems. An excellent boxer, great finishing ability. When he has you hurt, you know he won't get off you. He hurt
yeah,
Khabib. He hurt Khabib on the feet. One of the only
and he
few people
went
to
for it.
actually touch Khabib. Yeah. And that's saying something like, "Oh my God, he actually touched Khabib." You know,
Yeah,
that's
man,
the only thing
that's
we
it's
can
mad
really
to
say.
say shit like that though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like when you talk about Khabib, you just say, "Oh my God, yeah, that fighter touched him once." But yeah, he touched Khabib, which is something not many people did do. Um, he absolutely battered Max Holloway. Um, he smoked Justin Gaethje in that first fight. Second fight, listen, got caught. But in my
Top of the
opinion,
head kick.
yeah, and Justin Gaethje's become a very good striker himself. So
Yeah, he's
I'm gonna
very
put,
composed now.
I would put Dustin Poirier high B.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the only thing that I would say is the striking defense can sometimes have a lot to desire for. I mean, the guy does get caught. We've seen against Michael Chandler. Even he admitted if Chandler had just stuck with those straight shots, he probably would have put him out of there. But
Yeah.
that's Michael Chandler with zero fight IQ. Next, we've got Yuri Prohaska.
I'm saying C,
Yeah,
and
C.
I'm saying C. I would put him above Gaslam, Till, and Zabit because he's beaten names, but
Fair
he's a
enough.
very he does the wrong things and can make them right. Yes, he can finish it. Oh my God, can Yuri Prohaska finish somebody?
Yeah,
But
that guy.
Yuri Prohaska is a lot of people overrate his striking. He kind of reminds me of Tony Ferguson in his prime. Very wild, gets hurt. He has great recovery, but he does get hurt in a lot of fights. But yeah, he can finish people. Look at the Dominic Reyes fight. Um, Jan Blachowicz sent Dominic Reyes to the Shadow Realm, and then Yuri Prohaska sent him to hell. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, that was a bad KO. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I think Yuri striking, like you said, is overrated. I think a lot of the people at the top of the light heavyweight division, like an Alex Pereira, I even think Jan Blachowicz would beat him. Jamal Hill would beat him, in my opinion. I think the guy is too easily hit, and those three I just named there have the power to put anybody out. And
and Magomed
unfortunately, I think
Ankalaev
that would
would beat
happen.
him, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think he would beat him. Not on the feet, like, but yeah, he would beat him. Next up, we have got the dog lover himself, Israel Adesanya, S tier. Don't care what he done with his dog, what anybody thinks of him, S tier. And he is in front of both Anderson Silva and Cyril Gane, in my opinion. But I wouldn't put him ahead above Wonder Boy.
He's definitely an S. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson
The thing with Adesanya is he has
is the
been
best.
outstruck. He has been. I've never seen someone beat Wonderboy on the feet.
Yeah, like
Like,
we've seen
and
Strickland outstrike Adesanya. Someone with a Sean Strickland type style would not outstrike Wonder Boy.
no.
No way.
And although Cyril Gant and Anderson Silva never really got outstruck on the feet, they definitely haven't faced as many great strikers. And Israel Adesanya has such a good kickboxing record. You know, he's fought in professional boxing. Um, and in my opinion, will beat Sean Strickland in a rematch. We'll
Yeah, I
see.
agree.
We'll see because how many like surely he's got to run out of motivation and hunger at some point, right? But especially if he loses again, right? But I would definitely put Israel Adesanya just below Wonderboy Ness. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think S tier is looking good. I like the order we have it in. Next up, we've got Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, in my opinion, I'm probably going to put him C tier, if I'm being honest.
I'd put Dan Hooker above Till and Zabit, behind Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah,
The reason
that's
why, again, Dan Hooker is almost like Kelvin Gastelum. He's a nearly man. He nearly beat Dustin Poirier, but was one step behind. He absolutely got pulverized, pulverized, pulverized by Edson Barboza.
yeah, he smoked him.
Edson Barboza beat the holy hell. In fact, that's one of my top 5 worst beatings of all times.
Yeah,
And then Michael Chandler even took his soul. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
He's good at like scrapping. You know what I mean? Like you look at the Paul Felder fight, the Dustin Poirier fight, but he's not very like technically good in my opinion. He does have some good wins. I mean, I'm pretty sure. In fact, yeah, I'm sure he knocked out Gilbert Burns. I mean, that was a lightweight, but still, I mean, that is a good win. But yeah,
one
I think
fight I wish, one fight I wish happened. It was just in my head. I completely forgot who it was, but it was a good. It would be a good war. Dan Hooker and somebody I can't even remember, but Dan Hooker in a war is very entertaining. No knock on him, and I think he's a pretty good guy.
yeah,
But
no,
I don't know
yeah,
him.
no, I think yeah, putting him in C tier is fair for him. John Jones, Ben, where are you putting Ben or John Jones? But say where are you putting Ben?
Uh, Controversially, people, because we've not a lot of time left. But I'm going to put John Jones in B, and I would put him behind Jose Aldo.
Yeah, spot on. Behind Aldo, I agree with. He is a
Just
very good
quickly,
all-round mixed martial artist, like we've said about quite a lot of people on this list. But in
and he
terms of
would be an
striking,
S.
yeah, if it was terms in all-round MMA, he would be S. He'd be the best on this list. But in terms of striking, he is easily hit, and he doesn't have that great striking defense, in my opinion. And finally, Davison Figueiredo. I'm probably going to put
See,
him in C behind Yuri Prohaska, in my opinion. I think that's fair.
yeah. But you listen, Davison can knock anybody out. He has a ton of power. Look what he did to Joseph Benavidez. But in my
That was
opinion,
crazy.
Davis, yeah, that's again another horrendous beatdown. But Davison Figueiredo isn't just a striker like John Jones isn't just a striker. He's very good jiu-jitsu, very good wrestling, very strong at flyweight. I would argue he's a bit of a weight bully if they exist, but I actually think he is a bit of a real one. But yes, I would definitely put Davison below Yuri and C.
Yeah,
And
so
we've
yeah,
got no
that's
D fighters, so you can't call us haters.
no, Sabate needs to be in C to that's a bit hectic. But nah, yeah, so that's gonna do it today. That is our striking tier list. Comment below whether you agree or disagree with me and Ben, and leave us some suggestions in the comments of what you'd like to see next.